You know, these are the types of videos that I don't like to do, but I have to. Okay? I really don't like to do these types of videos because I don't really necessarily see a reason to do these types of videos, because you would think that football fans will understand the difference between certain things, but obviously people don't get the difference between pass rush and pressures. Okay? Pass rush, pressures, sacks. Pass rush, pressures, sacks, tackles. Like, you would think that fans and people would understand the difference between the two, but obviously I'm mistaken. Obviously, maybe it's just me, and maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking. Like, maybe I'm too smart for my own. Like, maybe some of us Falcons fans are too smart for our own fucking good. It's like, are we freaking serious? Like, I really have to make videos like this because people don't know the fucking difference between pressures and sacks. Like, we really don't know the difference between pressures and sacks. And I'm gonna go by 20 minutes tops. We got the Lady Birds of AFN tonight, and yeah. But this is something that, like, y'all might get to see these types of quick live shows from me a lot more often. But I can't believe that I really cannot. Like, you guys have no idea how I cannot believe that I'm doing a video like this. Okay, so this question spurned, and it came about because, all right, I was asked that, even Seattle Seahawks fans, like, you would just think that fans of the game would know the difference between, and this is not meant to be disrespectful towards people, but obviously I do have to teach these types of things, and this is probably why the Mad Mike membership is going to continue to have different types of videos, and I'm gonna have these types of videos explaining people the small intricate details of football, and this is one of the small intricate details that I did not think that I would have to talk about. Okay, so if you guys can see this, right? Basically, a Seattle Seahawks fan, Falcons fans, they'll be saying, "Oh, Falcons, the pass rush and the pressures, Falcons aren't getting pass rush and they're not getting pressures." Well, that's not necessarily true. Falcons are getting pressures. Falcons are getting opportunities to get sacks. Okay, they have their opportunities. All right, pass rush, like in this one, he stated it was definitely part of the issue. Y'all did get quite a few pressures on Geno, but only got home once. That soft zone relies heavily on the pass rush getting home. See, that's the issue. Okay, that's the issue. This is something that I've stated before, and if you guys have seen Monday's show, if you've seen the post-game show, please go back to watch our post-game shows, because this is what we talk about. A lot of people think, all right, so let me get in this, all right? So, all right, this is, I want to show you guys the difference between pressures, okay? This is what the NFL described as pressures, all right? A quarterback pressure is awarded to a defender who either forces the quarterback to move off his initial drop back point to avoid contacts the quarterback in the act of throwing, or has the QB in his grasp at the time an initial intentional grounding penalty is called. Only one quarterback pressure per play will be awarded to the defense. All right. So it's moving the quarterback off of his initial spot. That's what a pressure is called. Okay. Like I said, I cannot believe that I'm really explaining this to people, but these are small, okay? These are small. These things you can look up for yourself. These are Google images you guys can look up for yourself what a pressure is, all right? And this is not just one particular person that I'm talking about several people. People don't know what the pressure. So when I hear things about the Atlanta Falcons having pressure or they can't get to the quarterback, that's not necessarily true. Okay. Most commonly, okay, this is what they describe as what a sack is. Okay. Most commonly, a sack is when a member of the defense tackles the quarterback of the other team in possession while he is behind the line of scrimmage. Technically, a sack can occur on a non-quarterback, but only if the quarterback is intending to pass the ball forwards. Okay, so this is what a pressure is and what a sack is. So why am I saying this? Okay, I'm saying this because so many people have stated that the Atlanta Falcons are having trouble getting pressures or they're not getting at the quarterback. That's not true. It's not true at all. What's happening is you're seeing the Atlanta Falcons get to the quarterback, but they're not finishing. And that's the issue. The issue isn't whether or not the Atlanta Falcons could get pressure or get to the quarterback. The problem is, can you sack the quarterback? I think that's the issue. If you sack a quarterback 4 times and you only get 4 pressures all game, is that considered a what? What do you got? Would you consider that a good showing by the defense if they get 6? If they only get 6 pressures or 4 pressures, but with those 4 pressures, they end up getting a sack. Is that a successful defensive line? Because I don't think people know what the parameters or the rules they haven't set in regards to what they believe is successful pressure. What do you guys think is a successful sack? What do you guys think that is a successful showing for the defensive line? Because I think that's the biggest issue when it comes down to this Atlanta Falcons team. Everybody wants to say that they're not getting to the quarterback or they're not getting to the quarterback, but what would you categorize as a successful showing by the defensive line? So how many pressures would you guys say that would? How many pressures would you guys say? Excuse me. How many pressures would you guys say that's successful showing for a defensive line? Because we keep saying that, all right, the defensive line isn't doing this and ain't doing that, but we're just saying this. We don't know what the average pressures per game is per team. We're just saying it's not. So what is the numbers? And this stupid phone, I don't know what's going on. All right, I'm trying to pull up the phone so I can see you guys' comments, but this stupid phone doesn't want to show. All right, come on, yo. All right, come on, people. I want to be able to see y'all comments, but this damn phone just want to act stupid right now. Okay, here we go. All right. So what's happening? Nathan Floyd, Dre Murphy, Sherman Wood, Derek Hughes. I'll get that. I know a lot of people probably don't already ask that. I've already actually done a video, Dre, on how I feel about trading Penix. Man, if you want me to go it again. See, and here that stupid crackhead Chuck in here. It's just a crackhead, all right? See, please don't be a crackhead, all right? Pressure ain't shit. Tired of almost getting there and get a real D-line to get to the quarterback. See, this is what crackheads, I keep telling y'all, you got to stop with this. Pressures do matter, okay? This is another stupid fucking statement for anybody that even played the game. This is literally the dumbest shit that you can say as a football player, a fan, that pressures don't matter. Okay? They do matter. Okay? Let me say this. And I don't give a shit if I offend you. I don't give a shit for anybody else. Like, if I offend you by trying to educate you guys, pressures do matter. Tackling matters. Sacks matters. The problem is when you have pressures, you have to follow with the finish. Okay? You can rush and you can pressure a guy, but if you don't complete the tackle for the sack, that's what the problem is. And this is what the problem has been for the Atlanta Falcons. They're getting pressures, but they're not finishing it. Okay? So anybody that says that pressures don't matter, they're clearly idiotic, and they clearly don't study, and they clearly don't know what the bloody hell they're talking about. Just say you're tired of not finishing, okay? But don't say stupid statements like, oh, I'm tired, pressures don't matter. I don't care about pressures. Yeah, you do. Yeah, we do. We want to be able to move quarterbacks off the spot so we can get another opportunity to get a sack, okay? So for anybody that says that pressures don't matter, they're clearly idiotic. Okay, we got to stop the crackhead statements. This is a clearly idiotic statement for somebody. And please check out Atlanta Falcons Nation come on tonight. Okay? The ladies are going to give their take on the game. Miss Maggie T, Auntie Pam, Whitney, Asia, Christy, may have some others there, but join AFN Atlanta Falcons Nation tonight. But we got to stop with the idiotic things. So we just have so many people that just don't understand the difference between finishing and getting there. The Falcons are getting there. This is one of the reasons why so many people last week with Lorenzo Carter, because Lorenzo Carter got there 2 times, but he could not finish the sack. So this is the issue, and has been the issue for the Atlanta Falcons for the last 2 to 3 years. Just keep that real. Falcons are getting there, but they're not finishing it. We literally lost. We lost about 3 games last year because we could not finish a sack. Quarterbacks are just standing there. So it's not a matter of the quarterbacks actually us getting to the quarterback. It's finishing, and we're allowing these quarterbacks to extend plays by using their legs and getting extra yards. Okay, we did that against Andy Dalton. We did that again this game. With whom? Yeah, Geno Smith. So the Falcons aren't having an issue getting to the quarterback and getting quarterback off the spot. The problem is that you're not finishing. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons are having an issue with. Okay. So I want people to understand the difference between, got people to understand the difference between pressures, tackling someone, and tackling someone for a sack. Those are not the same concepts. All of those go hand in hand, but they're not the same. You tackle someone for a sack. A sack means you tackled the guy. A pressure means that you're moving guys off the spot. So as a defense, you want both. As a team, you want both. You want to be able to move guys off the spot so someone else may be able to get the sack, But one of the issues with the Atlanta Falcons, they've been able to move guys off the spot, but due to the fact that we have a lot of players that, and this is something that I even talked about, Jude talked about, Kev talked about, Sam talked about, Coach talked about. Like, these guys are being moved off their spot, but if you don't have rush gap discipline and you crashing in, which you should stay in your spot, this allows quarterbacks to get outside the pocket and extend the plays for an extra 1 to 2 seconds. So this has been the Falcons' issue. Furthermore, on top of that, when you have the quarterback, the defensive backs playing 5 yards off, you're giving these guys, even if you get pressure, and this is the reason why I'm so frustrated with Raheem Morris, is because we're getting pressures, but when we get pressures, we're playing, the DBs are playing 5 yards off of wide receivers. So what's good of getting the pressures if you're going to play 5 yards off of the wide receivers, DK Metcalf, and we're allowing these quarterbacks to get these yards, granted that it may be 5-7 yards a pop, we're still allowing the offense to control the clock. And this is what the Falcons have had their issue with. When you have one issue is playing too far off of the wide receiver, on top of the fact that the Falcons are struggling and stopping the run, especially early downs, that's a major issue. It's a major issue. And this is what we're seeing. A lot of quarterbacks aren't passing for big yards. They're not passing for a lot of yards. Geno Smith didn't pass for 300. He passed for 207 yards. That's still a decent outing. But when you turn the ball over and put these offenses in short distance, and you put them in your own territory, when you get the ball and they're starting their drives on our 40 or in our territory, this is what the issues are. So when I hear people say that the Falcons are struggling with getting pressures, not necessarily. Like, again, if the Falcons were to get 10 pressures, and out of those 10 pressures, they got 3 sacks, and those pressures led to sacks, you got, let's just say, I'm gonna just say, for just to be a little bit, lean on them, I'll just say they get 5 pressures. I'll say 5 pressures. You move a quarterback off the spot, cause him to extend the drive, extend the play, or extend the play a little bit, and we end up, throwing an incompletion. I'm fine with that pressure because it led to an incompletion. Or what if the Atlanta Falcons have 3 sacks, but they only had those 4? So the thing is, with the Atlanta Falcons, all of these aspects of the game have to correspond together. You can't have one without the other. All of these aspects, being able to tackle well, which was a key. And for the most part, I thought the Falcons did tackle well. You have to get after the quarterback with pressures. The Falcons did that. They had a season high, and for the most part, if you look again, this is something that Tori McElhaney, she put out there, and I showed you guys on the live show last night on the Originator, so you can go back and look at it for yourself, is that the Atlanta Falcons pressured Geno Smith, and that was a season high of being pressured 50% of his dropbacks. So the issue for the Atlanta Falcons against the Seattle Seahawks wasn't the fact that they did not get pressures. The Falcons' problems were they did not get sacks. And this has been the issue for the Atlanta Falcons. So the answer to all of this is whether or not how the Falcons are going to be able to, how are they going to be able to finish it? And I think that's the thing. So Raheem, in my opinion, why he's not playing a lot of these young rookies, the Rook Ororo, okay, and this is something that Jew stated on his. He stated on his short. So head over to Jew Talk Sports and check that out. He talked about this. Maybe you should play the younger guys because all these older guys, granted that they're in the game, they're not finishing the sacks. So for me, our pressures, and even if, let's just say if these guys are getting pressures, the veterans are getting pressures, is that good enough? I say no. Pressures are not good enough if you don't have guys that's going to be able to finish them. One of the things that I think is that Grady Jarrett is our number one finisher. You rarely see Grady Jarrett miss a sack. When Grady Jarrett gets after it, he makes sure you're down. And I think that's the thing with the Atlanta Falcons. We don't have enough finishers. And I think that's the biggest issue in regards to this Atlanta Falcon team. Just like I said, a large portion of NFL fans and our fan base in particular don't know the details in football. I asked them what a three technique is. They don't know. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. Mucho says sacks and missed opportunities. What's going on, Brian, people? So 3 there, I appreciate it. But like I said, people don't know the difference between, and this is why I have to do these types of live shows, because people don't know the difference. Sacks and pressures aren't the same thing. We need finishers. So whether or not Judon, I don't think Judon I don't think he has a problem with finishing, but when you're constantly double team and offensive linemen are, grabbing you around your neck like they're trying to choke you out like you're in a Bruce Lee movie or something, like what can you really do? So the Falcons need a team of finishers. I think that's the thing we're most frustrated about as a fan base, me included, is that we're not finishing our sack opportunities. We gotta finish our sack opportunities. That's the problem that we're having. We're not finishing. So when I hear anybody that says that, I don't care about pressures, that's the most idiotic and stupid thing you can say, that you don't care about pressures. It's literally dumb. Okay? That's idiotic for any fan. Of course you want pressures, but we want to finish the play. I don't care what it is. We don't want quarterbacks running for 15 minutes behind the line of scrimmage. No, once he gets behind the line of scrimmage, we want to finish the tackle and finish the sack. That's what you want. But don't say that I don't care about pressures. That's idiotic. That's crazy. And David, that's a good point, and that's what I've been saying with AK. He's been a little bit more consistent with his pressures lately. If we can just get him to finish, if he can get more, I think it'll free up Matthew Judon from a lot of his double teams. If we can get AK to actually finish. And I think the biggest thing for this Atlanta Falcons team is two things for this Atlanta Falcon team that they did not see happening. One, obviously having Braylon Trice, I think the Falcons are really going to count on him to be one of those guys on the edge to help get more sacks and get more opportunities. That really hurt the Atlanta Falcons. They could, at the very least, they would have had a 3 to 4 or 4-man rotation on the edge. But being that Braylon Trice towards ACL in the preseason, well, they don't have that. So now the Atlanta Falcons have to play Matthew Judon more snaps than we probably want him to. Because right now, if Matthew Judon is not in the game, can we really count on Lorenzo Carter? Can we really count on the Ebiketie? No, we can't count on those guys. I did, as David said, I believe his name is Damon Harris. He came in. I think he did pretty good in his short snaps. I think he played pretty well as far as him getting in. But the Falcons need more guys up front. Not up front, but they need more guys that's going to be able to finish these sacks. I think that was the thing. I mean, you can't fix a sack problem. Okay, you can fix pressure problems. The finishing part is all on the players. Because as a coach, you can tell these guys, all right, stay in your lane. But if the defensive guy don't stay in his lane, and they don't have a disciplined pass rush, and everybody is getting out of their gap and allowing the quarterbacks to extend plays because you did not stay in your gap. You crashed in when you should just stay in your lane to allow the quarterback to go back inside and to where the help is. So that's how you end up getting a lot of sacks, forcing the quarterback to go back into the help. The help for the defensive edge guys are the defensive tackles. So if you can force the quarterback to go back inside to go with the quarterback, chances are you're going to get the sack. And that's the problem with the Atlanta Falcons. Our edges are crashing in, allowing quarterbacks to get outside of the edge. And these guys extend the play, whether extend the play with their legs, extend the play with their arm, which is a lot of times what's happening to guys in situations like what Geno did with 10 seconds. So, yes, Nathan, on top of the fact that the Falcons are playing off. So you can dial up pressures, but if you're going to give guys easy throws, if you're going to give guys these consistent easy throws, 5 yards, you're playing 5 yards off and allowing these guys to get up at full speed and giving them an 8 yard, you giving them 7 and 8 yards every play. Well, they're going to continue to take that because you're going to give it to them. And that's the problem that I'm having with Raheem. He playing 8 yards off, and these guys taking those 8 yards, and then on the next play, they running the ball for 5 yards. And now here you go, we got a first down. And then on top of it, you get guys that make stupid penalties and get, in that situation, I forget who it was, 91, end up getting a personal foul, roughing the passer, and extending the drives. So a lot of these penalties are the problem too. The Falcons are killing themselves. So a lot of times we're thinking we can't get to the quarterback, but these guys are getting to the quarterback. But when they don't have gap discipline, they're getting stupid penalties. And the Seattle Seahawks, I think they scored like 3 times off all our turnovers. So got to be able to, gap discipline is key in your front seven. Got to be disciplined in your gaps. You can't just be running after quarterbacks for nothing. And this is why every time that I watch Lamar Jackson, I get so angry, not the fact that he's a superior athlete and he's balling, but I get so, it drives me nuts to see defensive linemen. Like these guys are just falling all on themselves. Like all you got to do is literally just stay in your gap. But these guys, they diving on the ground trying to catch him. It's like, bro, just stay up. If you stay up and stay in your gap, somebody else is going to have the opportunity to get the sack. But guys are diving on the floor, they crashing in. Like it's defensive linemen doing those types of things that drive me nuts. And that's the problem. It's a major problem for me. Q, and that's what I would do. Because right now, yeah, we're getting pressure, and I don't think we should stop playing our veteran guys, but we should give our rookies a little bit more time to get after the quarterback and actually get sacks. Because until our veterans actually get the sacks in key situations, why we keep throwing them out there? They're gonna keep missing sacks. They're gonna keep missing sack opportunities in those situations then why are we rewarding him? And I don't think you should reward guys that are not getting sacks. There's a time and a place for pressures and a time and a place for sacks. You need to reward the guys that are getting sacks. And I don't think Raheem is doing that. Okay, so coverage goes hand in hand and to sacks. You can't get sacks if your defensive line up if your defensive backs are playing 5-10 yards off of these guys almost every play, which drives me nuts, and I know it. You drive you guys nuts, but we can't have that. You can't have that at all, and that's a major problem. You can't get pressure. Look, the thing is, if a guy, let's just say the Falcons do get there. Let's say they get two players, blitz the A gap, the defensive tackle gets free, and the linebacker gets free. But the defensive back is playing so far off of the wide receiver, you giving the quarterback an opportunity to get rid of that ball quick. He knows that he can get that ball there quick because the wide receivers is being guarded 5 yards off. So what good is the pressures? And this is the problem that I'm seeing with the Atlanta Falcons. They're getting pressures, but the coverage, these guys are 5 yards off of the wide receivers because they're trying to prevent the big play. And this is why I say there's a time and a place for off coverage, and I think the Falcons are doing that way too much. And it's allowing quarterbacks to get into a rhythm, and which is what you're seeing. And it's allowing the team to control the clock because you're playing off. You're not pressing the issue. Can't get the quarterback on the ground if he got 1.5 seconds to get the ball to a wide open guy. These guys are wide open within 1 second. Okay? Why? Because the Atlanta Falcons are playing off. I think if we press a little bit more and we play man coverage a little bit more, I think the Falcons will be good. But until we play a little bit more man, until we press them a little bit more and play a little closer to these DBs and trust the fact that our DBs can play man and they can stick with their guy, we're going to continuously see this. The sack numbers are not going to increase if we keep playing off. Just saying. And like I said, I think we all in agreement that the Falcons need to get more sacks, but it's not just as simple as, all right, we just need to we need to trade for this guy or that guy. Because if we trade for a Max Crosby and we're still doing the same exact thing, is it really the players that are the issue, or is it the scheme that's the issue? AJ Terrell is not. Look, we got to stop with the AJ Terrell stuff. I like to say that AJ Terrell is playing badly is just it's so ignorant. That's another ignorant statement. Okay. He did not get manhandled. I'd say he got manhandled. All right, he got manhandled by DK. All right, let's just say he got manhandled. I'll give you that. But DK caught the ball for 4 times for 99 yards. And even on that play, even you come out and stated that Justin Simmons said that was his fault. So we'll take that 40 yards away, 30, 40 yards away. I think it was like 30 yards from 99. So I take that one play out. DK Metcalf had a game of 3 catches for about 50 yards or so. 50, 40 yards. So we got to stop this AJ Terrell stuff. DK Metcalf did not have a great game. Let's stop that. And like I said, I think this is more of a scheme, but I think the biggest issue with this Atlanta Falcon team that we're seeing is that we don't know. I still think he's still experimenting with the personnel. I think we don't have, without Troy Anderson, I don't think the Falcons could do the things schematically that we hope. And this is something that K Styles even spoke on. I don't think we can do the things schematically with our coverages, with our blitzes, because we don't have the athlete, the super athlete. We got Caden Ellis, who ironically runs a 4.59, a 4.6 for a linebacker. And then you have Nate Landman, who's not that much faster than he is. And then you have Troy Anderson, who obviously runs a 4.4. The dude is an animal. He's out. So I don't think the Falcons can do the things schematically without their linebacker. And I think that's one of the things that is kind of preventing Raheem Morris to trust completely because of Trey Anderson not being there. So there's a lot of things that go into the lack of sacks. It's not just as simple as, oh, you know, we need to get more sacks and we need to trade these guys. Let me just say that, oh, he blocked that man one hand. Look, for one, that's easy to do in football. All you got to do is catch a guy off guard. DK catch AJ off guard, and we saw. AJ did the exact same thing the prior week. So catching the player off guard and doing what he did, that's not uncommon in football. We see that offensive linemen almost every play doing the exact same thing. I've seen that happen to Grady Jarrett. I've seen that happen to Aaron Donald. But everybody want to make a big deal because DK Metcalf did it. AJ did the exact same thing to somebody last week. So we got to stop this. Oh, he manhandled this man. Everybody in the NFL going to get manhandled. Okay? Everybody's going to get manhandled. So look, if y'all want to knock AJ for getting manhandled or getting owned on the play, have at it. But I wanted to come in and show everybody and tell everybody what the difference between pressures and sacks. They're not the same, but they go hand in hand. You can't you can have one without the other, but you're not gonna like it. And that's what we're saying. We got one without the other. We get a lot of pressures, but we're not getting any sacks. The thing is with the Atlanta Falcons, they need to come up with a scheme that's going to be able to get not only the pressures, but the sacks. And I think that's what the Atlanta Falcons issue is at this point. We're getting pressures, but we're not finishing. So we still got, we have to find a way to put the quarterback in situations, or the defensive lineman in situations where they can finish a lot better and find a rotation that's best for this Atlanta Falcons defense. So until we find that rotation, I think we're going to continue. But like I said, schematically, I think the issue with the Atlanta Falcons is trying to find that fine line between coverage, pressures, and four-man rush. And I don't think we find that. I don't think we find it. In fact, I know we haven't. God understand that. So, like I said, Jude pretty much said, You pretty much said the exact same thing. We got to find our identity, and I still think finding your identity is understanding what personnel that you have and what personnel that you need. And I think this particular scheme, what Raheem wants to run and what Jimmy wants to run, they don't have the Troy Anderson. You got to have a super athlete that's at that linebacker, and I don't think we have the athlete at the linebacker position that's going to help us. Because a lot of our issues is the fact that like when quarterbacks scramble, we don't have and even not the quarterback, but like we saw even on the touchdown to I think Charbonnet, I forget who it was, but he caught the ball out of the backfield. It was simply due to the fact that Caden Ellis just could not keep up with him. If Troy Anderson is there, that look, in my opinion, that doesn't go for a touchdown. If Caden Ellis is in the middle of the field instead of if Troy Anderson is in the middle of the field instead of Caden Ellis, does DK Metcalf even get that? Because Caden was literally a couple steps behind DK. So if a faster guy who's able to keep up with that, do we score the touchdown? And again, this is where you have to find that fine line between scheme and personnel. I don't know if that was Kenneth Walker. That may have been, but it was for the touchdown. So, like I said, man, I think we're still a team that's building the defense the proper way. I think offensively, I think we know what we want to do. For the most part, okay, it was Kenneth Walker. All right. So offensively, I think we know we want to do for the most part. We had the personnel, but I don't think we still found our complete identity offensively or defensively. And that's the thing that G was talking about. Got to be able to find out what we are, what the base of our defense is going to be. Are we going to be playing a lot of cover two in key situations, or are we going to blitz in key situations? Like when things get crazy on defense, or when things get behind, like what are we going to go to? I don't know what we're doing in certain situations. I think that's the thing. Once you understand what you're going to do in certain situations as a defensive coordinator and defensive coach, then you can start drafting guys for those specific roles, and that's how you end up capitalizing off of your draft. You have better draft because you know for each situation what this guy's going to be. So if you're going to play a cover two, well, you know you got to get faster, more athletic safeties. If you know you're going to blitz more, you got to get guys that understand and you know how to blitz. So these are the things that help you as a team. You got to understand what you're going to do in certain situations. I think, you know, the personnel for what they're doing right now, they don't know exactly. They're still even experimenting. So, I still think they'll get it. I think they'll get it. You know, I think they get it together. But I'm like, Raheem got to show me something. I'm tired of seeing his back, and I really am sick of seeing our DBs playing 5 and 6 yards behind wide receivers. That driving me nuts. That's driving me nuts. So, like I said, stay tuned for Atlanta Falcons Nation. The Lady Birds at AFN. They're going to be going on real soon, 8 o'clock. So make sure you head over to Atlanta Falcons Nation. Hit that notification bell. Hit that subscribe button. And happy birthday to Coach. Okay. Happy birthday to Coach. Y'all show Coach Unchained some love. All right, show him some love, man. Like I said, on his quest to 500, Coach definitely deserves it. One of the most valuable, definitely valuable asset and friend, colleague, all that. Brother, big brother, Coach definitely deserves. So y'all show Coach Unchained some love by heading over to the channel, man. Say happy birthday to him. So with that being said, man, this has been your boy Mad Mike. Like I said, wanted to get this video out because I don't think a lot of people understand the difference. And like I said, we gotta start teaching fans a little bit more about the game instead of just the fun aspect of actually talking about it. That's fun to talk about sports, but you got to be able to know what the hell you looking at when you're talking about it. And we got so many people that doing a lot of talking, but they don't know what the hell they looking at. Okay, they don't know what the hell you looking at. And I saw some moron too. I'm not gonna say who it is, but I saw some moron talking about. So all the blank, he wanted to spend the money on the quarterback. No shit. No fucking duh. He wanted to spend money on the quarterback. Yeah. But it had to make sense, okay? Like, I don't understand why people think that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know why people think a billionaire don't want to spend money. Man, shut the fuck up. Okay, I'm not about to go on a rant, but that's a whole nother conversation. We'll probably get to that on the end games or 6-man K-style, but all this idiotic shit talking about Arthur, he did want to spend money on a quarterback. Yeah, he does. But it has to make sense, okay? Don't just go out here fucking spending money on quarterbacks for no fucking reason. You have no plan, okay? Gotta have a plan on how to build not only around that quarterback, but you have to have a defense that corresponds with that particular quarterback skill sets. So it's not just solely about spending money. So with that being said, hit that subscribe button, head over to Atlanta Falcons Nation, and check out the Ladybirds. Hit that notification bell to be notified when they go live, so you won't miss it. Again, Ladybirds at AFN, 8 o'clock. Miss Maggie T with all the ladies, Pam, Christy, Asia, and everybody else. So head over there, man, and show the ladies some love. They're about to get down and give their opinion on the Atlanta Falcons game. So with that being said, this has been your boy Mad Mike, man. I'm out of here, man. Peace.